Local, trusted. This is News 3 at 6 on KBTX.
Today, Brazos County has once again broken the 1,000 active case mark for COVID-19. With 115 new cases reported, we now have a total of 1,096 active cases. 26 residents are currently hospitalized. A majority of the counties across the Brazos Valley have seen an increase in COVID-19 active cases. Lee County now has over double the amount of cases, and Robertson County is now over the 100 active case mark. However, Walker County is the exception, as its active case count has decreased to 141 cases. Charlie Pride has died at the age of 86 in Dallas from COVID-19 complications. He was known as a trailblazer for black artists in the country music community. He had 52 top 10 country hits and multiple Grammy Awards. Charlie's last performance was at this year's CMA Awards in November, where he performed one of his hit singles, Kiss an Angel, Good Morning. The FDA gave emergency use authorization to Pfizer's coronavirus vaccine, the first vaccine in the U.S. to be approved in the battle against the pandemic. The major step authorizes the shipping of nearly 3 million freezing cold vials of Pfizer's vaccine to more than 600 American sites. Chris Martinez has more from Los Angeles.
The FDA has approved Pfizer's coronavirus vaccine for emergency use. The drug maker will be sending the first doses to hospitals and pharmacies around the country. The shipments contain enough vaccines to immunize roughly 3 million people. In a statement, the FDA says the emergency use authorization marks a significant milestone in battling the pandemic. The White House released a video statement from President Trump.
Today, our nation has achieved a medical miracle. We have delivered a safe and effective vaccine in just 9 months. This is one of the greatest scientific accomplishments in history. It will save millions of lives and soon end the pandemic once and for all.
With the nation fighting another COVID-19 wave, President-elect Joe Biden expressed optimism.
We'll have a national coordinated strategy that will beat this virus. As tough as things are now, I firmly believe better days are ahead.
This week, daily coronavirus deaths topped 3,000 in the U.S. for the first time since the pandemic began. From the West Coast to the East, cities and states are imposing tough new restrictions. Starting Monday, indoor dining will be banned again in New York City, another hit to struggling restaurants.
We said that we would watch it. If the hospital rate didn't stabilize, we would close indoor dining. It has not.
In Lansing, Michigan, parents, students, and coaches demanded high school sports restart across the state. Chris Martinez, CBS News, Los Angeles.
The vaccine comes after more than 294,000 people nationwide have died from COVID-19. That's more than the American combat deaths in all of World War II. Well, President Donald Trump made his third presidential visit to the Army-Navy game today. He conducted the coin toss for the annual rivalry game between the two service schools. The game was supposed to be in Philadelphia, but due to COVID regulations, the game was relocated to West Point so students from both schools could attend. The game was a shutout, with Army beating Navy 15-0. A local cemetery received a little extra special care this morning. Volunteers from the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints spent the morning at the historic Grandview Cemetery off Highway 21 and Highway 6 in Bryan. The group consisted mainly of teenagers who wiped off headstones, picked up trash, and excess leaves. Teresa Wright is the secretary for the Grandview Cemetery Association. She says she's grateful for the youth that came out to help.
This is the first group of volunteers that we've had, and it means a lot to not only the family members of their loved ones who are buried here in Grandview, but to the community as well.
Wright says the teenagers expressed that they would like to come back and volunteer again in the future. A holiday tradition for a good cause is now in its 15th year. This afternoon, Bryan Mayor Andrew Nelson and College Station Mayor Carl Mooney competed in the annual Salvation Army Mayor's Ring-Off. Each year, the mayors go head-to-head, or shall we say bell-to-bell, outside Walmart in their respective cities in an effort to raise money for the nonprofit Red Kettle Initiative. Both mayors say they're extremely proud of the support shown from both of their cities.
When we both work and compete, it's really the Salvation Army that wins, and both the cities and the whole Brazos Valley that wins when we do this, because there's so much the Salvation Army is doing to help our community. So we're happy to be a part of the friendly competition.
We've been out here for years. Both Mayor Nelson, he's over at the Walmart on Briarcrest, and of course I'm here at the College Station Walmart. And we're just trying to give people a joyful way of being able to give.
If you didn't make it out to the Walmart, you can still go online and donate. The amount collected online will count towards your mayor's goal. The Christmas spirit was easy to see in College Station this morning. College Station ISD and many volunteers had their annual Chrissy's Closet drive-through Christmas at College View High School. Hundreds of people received Christmas gifts for kids as well as the children's parents. Santa Claus also made a special visit for family photos. Organizers say there's an even greater need this year during the pandemic.
I think it was real important. It is a tough year. You know, we always do all different programs in this great community, has all kinds of different programs, but I think we can't do enough. Families are in high need right now.
Attendees also got presents that were wrapped by age and supplies to make cookies as a fun family activity. We wanted to let you know that our 12 Nights of Lights contest is happening again this year. You can send us a short video like this one of your Christmas light display. The video with the most votes gets a $350 gift card. You can send us your video at KBTX.com. Just look for the 12 Nights of Lights banner. Coming up, Mia Montgomery says we have another chance to see some rain tomorrow. And a local organization here in the Brazos Valley is hard at work protecting and conserving one of Earth's most precious resources for us and many future generations. Find out after the break on this week's From the Ground Up.
You're watching News 3 at 6 on KBTX.
How many of us think about water each day? Maybe when we brush our teeth or take a shower, we assume it will be there when we turn on the faucet. There are people at work right now to make sure that we can keep that expectation, not only for the rest of our lives, but for generations to come. Here's this week's From the Ground Up.
There's a lot of natural resources we can live without if we have to, but water's not one of them.
Gary Westbrook is with the Post Oak Savannah Groundwater Conservation District. He and his colleagues in about 100 other water districts statewide work to conserve and preserve our water resources here in Texas.
Our rules are intended to allow producers to produce an amount of water that would sustain their needs.
Westbrook says they make sure no one uses too much water. That way, the rest of us still have some, even when conditions aren't the best.
On a per acre basis, we establish our rules to limit the production so that all of our agriculture could flourish and continue to grow crops even in the worst of droughts.
The Groundwater Conservation District balances the role weather plays as well as the human factor.
You could purchase a small piece of land and produce an enormous amount of water from it and have a tremendous effect on all your neighbors, even though they might not be producing. You would deplete the aquifer in that area. And so a groundwater district is going to go in and study the aquifer and establish fair and impartial rules so that they can treat everyone the same and reduce those impacts that one producer would have on another.
They're not just working so we have water tomorrow. Their planning is for decades, even centuries into the future.
And so even though we need it to live today, we're also going to need it for our great grandkids, someday. And so we want to manage to where we're always handing off to the next generation at least as good, if not better, a situation than we are in today.
That's a look at how Central Texas agriculture works to preserve our greatest resource for us and generations to come, from underground up.
From the Ground Up is sponsored by Producers Cooperative, proudly serving agriculture since 1943.
Well, we've got another chance to see some showers and storms across the Brazos Valley tomorrow. We'll get you an updated look at your pinpoint forecast after the break. Thank you, Brazos Valley, for once again supporting the KBTX Food for Families food drive.
News 3 weather from the Pinpoint Forecast team is sponsored by First Financial Bank. Local bankers putting you first. And now, local weather.
Well, the sunshine returned for the first half of the weekend, as we saw throughout the majority of the day today. Temperatures have cooled down just a little bit since the sun has gone down. Currently, we're checking in the mid-50s for a good portion of the Brazos Valley. And as we head into the next couple of hours, our temperatures will continue to fall throughout the 50s. So if you are headed out for any Saturday evening plans, it will be a little chilly out there. So plan on taking the extra layer. But you'll notice that we kind of start to see some of the cloud cover move back in as we get towards the later portions of this evening and into the overnight overnight hours. Changes are ahead as we head into the overnight as well, as we start to see some moisture pull back into the Brazos Valley, and that's going to allow us to see some patchy fog by the time some of us are stepping out the door for any early Sunday morning plans. So plan on giving yourself just a little bit of extra time tomorrow morning. And we'll also have the chance to see about a 30% chance for some rain before the sun comes up tomorrow as well. Now, as we head throughout the day in the morning, really throughout our Sunday, the rain chance only goes up from there. And I do think this is all ahead of our next system as it continues to push towards the Brazos Valley, and then that front pushes through about that 12 to 3 o'clock time frame. Now, this is all thanks to this system that currently sits near the Four Corners region, an area of low pressure just to the north of New Mexico and down into Colorado as well, already bringing some rain and snow to some of those higher elevations. As we head throughout the overnight hours tonight and into the early morning hours of our Sunday, that low pressure system and its associated cold front is going to sweep a little bit closer here to the Brazos Valley, and you'll notice that we will start to see some widespread rain pop up here across the area. So we'll zoom it in and we will time it out here on your pinpoint forecast. You'll notice some of that cloud cover and some areas of patchy fog developing throughout the overnight hours tonight. Some spotty showers possible, especially as we get ahead of sunrise tomorrow. But then notice just how quickly a pinpoint forecast really starts to fill in. A lot more colorful as we get closer to the noon time frame as well. And then we start to see that front push through. And as it does so throughout the early afternoon hours, that rain really starts to push out, clearing from about west to the east. And then we'll start to monitor for just some partly cloudy skies as we head throughout the rest of our Sunday. Now, that being said, it's worth noting that severe weather is not overly likely, but if we do find a stronger storm that does need some extra attention, we will be monitoring for some gusty winds. That being said, a wind advisory has already been put into effect for 3 p.m. till 9 p.m. tomorrow for Milam County for some gusts possible up to about 50 miles per hour. So go ahead and plan on tying down any loose lawn items as well as those outdoor holiday decorations. Now, as the rain kind of pushes out towards the east, the wind starts to filter in after that front pushes through, and we start to see that drier air move into the Brazos Valley. So we will be monitoring for some gusty winds upwards of about 30 miles per hour throughout the evening hours of our Sunday and into the overnight hours on Monday. But this front does look to bring a lot more of that holiday feel back here to the Brazos Valley, waking up to temperatures in the upper 30s heading into the beginning of next week, and then also topping off near that 50-degree mark for our Monday. So it's definitely going to feel a whole lot better out there. And speaking of just kind of that holiday feel, it's time for today's Shell on the Shelf photo submitted by Laura Paskett. Now, Shell is hanging out with the holiday decorations today. And to get your own shell to put on your shelf, you can head to Wellman or Brenham, or head to KBTX.com to print out your own cutout. There you can also submit your very own shelfie photo, and we could feature it in one of our newscasts throughout the month of December.
Thanks very much, Mia. Here's something you don't see every day. During the third round of the Women's U.S. Open, Chella Choi made a hole-in-one on the 180-yard hole 12. Let's watch.
Staring it down. Judy.
Yes.
Maybe.
I hope.
Yes!
This happened down in Houston at Champions Golf Club. Choi started playing golf at age 11 and credits her coach and father as two biggest influences on her career. Now, coming up in sports, A&M men's basketball is on the road for the first time this season, plus College Station football kicking off their playoff run at home. Tyler will have those highlights and more after the break.
The high school football playoffs are well underway. Franklin made the 3A Division II state championship game with a win last night. And now the 5A and 6A playoffs kicked off this weekend. College Station was at home this afternoon for their bi-district matchup. Cougars' quest to return to the state championship begins at Cougar Field. Cougars hosting Sherman. Second quarter, Sherman looking to fight back from a 7-0 deficit. Tate Bethel goes to the air. His pass is picked off by Jackson Slinker. College Station would turn the turnover into points. Roderick Brown takes the handoff. He'll find some running room, and he's off to the races. Brown scampers 40 yards to the end zone, pushing the Cougar lead 14-0. Sherman hooks up with Xavier Miller, and that's good for a 37-yard touchdown pass. College Station would lead 14-7 at the break. The Cougar offense going back to work in the third quarter. Marquise Collins scores from 2 yards out. College Station led 28-14 heading into the fourth. The Bearcats would hang in this game. Bethel able to buy some time. He goes back to the air, finds Benji Omayabu in the end zone. The 23-yard TD toss cuts the Cougar lead 31-20. College Station answers that with a Brown 25-yard touchdown run. His third TD of the game pushes the Cougar lead 38-20. College Station goes on to beat Sherman 38-26 to advance to the area round of the playoffs.
I thought our kids played well, played a very emotional game. We gave up some big plays, and it hurt us, but our kids, offensively were able to answer in the second half, which I think was huge for us.
Now the Cougars will take on Denton Ryan next week in the area round of the playoffs. Aggie men's basketball on the road for the first time this season in Fort Worth, taking on TCU. First half, Aggies go to Emmanuel Miller down low, who spins and finishes with a soft touch for 2 of his 10 points, A&M within 4. But the Horned Frogs answer. R.J. Nemhard finds Kevin Samuel wide open underneath for the two-handed jam. Then Nemhard with a no-look dish to Mike Miles. He'll get the layup plus the foul. Miles had 12 in the first half, and the Horned Frogs go up 42-21 at the break. Here's A&M turning some defense into offense. Hassan Diarra with the steal finds Quentin Jackson. And then Diarra with another steal goes to Jackson again. This time slams it home with the one-handed jam, but the Horned Frogs were too much in this one. Miles throws it up and Charles O'Bannon throws it down. TCU cruises 73-55.
I hope, honestly, that it's a wake-up call for everybody, including myself. I can't put all of this on the players. It has to be on our program that collectively we've got to start trending in the right direction on the things that we know correlate to what we want to be about.
Definitely a wake-up game. This was our first Division I Power 5 school that we played. It's a good test for us. I think it'll help us down the road once we play bigger and better teams. We'll learn from this for sure.
The Aggies will return to Reed Arena for a Tuesday night game against Southeastern Louisiana. A former Texas A&M head coach Kevin Sumlin was fired from Arizona today. Sumlin had a 9-20 overall record with the Wildcats. Arizona is 0-6 this year. They're on a 12-game losing streak dating back to last season. Sumlin coached the Aggies from 2012 to 2017, and he's been with Arizona for the past 3 seasons. Big full day of college football today, and we'll have lots of highlights and more coming up tonight on Saturday Extra Coverage at 10.
Well, as we head into the evening hours tonight, temperatures will be moving through the low 50s, but that's kind of where we're going to sit as we head into the overnight hours as well. And that's thanks to the fact that we are expecting to see that cloud cover move back in as we head into the early morning hours of our Sunday. And then once again, we'll hold on to that 70% chance for some widespread showers, as well as a few thunderstorms across the Brazos Valley as we watch our next cold front push through the area through the early afternoon tomorrow as well. Then we'll just monitor for a much cooler start to the upcoming week with low temperatures in the upper 30s, and we'll push for that 50-degree mark on Monday.
Book ended by rain. Rain yesterday and good weather today and a little rain tomorrow. Thanks, Mia. That's our report for now. Thanks for joining us. Hope you'll tune in tonight at 10. See you then.